Hi, it's Mitra Sorrells here in the PhocusWire studio at PhocusWright Europe, and I am joined by one of our launch presenters from earlier today, Anna Banicevic from Zizoo platform.
Yes.
So Zizoo, you founded about 5 years ago, a platform for booking boat rentals, and I understand you now have about 22,000 boats available in 30 countries, is that correct?
Correct.
So tell us now, what are you doing next? Where do you go from here?
So at the moment, we're very focused on two things. One, further rolling out our SaaS technology to our boat operators. So there's quite a strong roadmap behind that, giving them business intelligence, yield management, etc., so that they can be more competitive with their business. And on the second point, we're actually rolling out our GDS, which is what we presented today. So it's the first ever global distribution system for boat holidays. And here, we're already integrated with a few operators, travel agents, and now we're looking to find new partners to integrate with so that they can offer our boat holidays on their channels.
Okay, so let's start first by talking about the SaaS technology and the services that you provide. So is that something that these operators are using holistically for their business, or is it strictly tied to the bookings that are coming through your platform? I mean,
They can use it for both.
Okay.
So I would say the more mature companies sometimes have their own technology already, and then they use ours purely for updating our bookings.
Okay.
But the smaller and medium-sized companies oftentimes use only our SaaS. But every single partner has to put their listings in our SaaS and needs to accept and manage their listings with that system. And we believe, of course, the more advantages we add to the system, such as, for example, business intelligence and competitive insights that they can use to see how to better compete with their competitors, will ensure more operators using it full time. Okay. And then there's also other things we're integrating, so back office management, invoicing. So in the end, our goal is to provide a full suite with which they can manage their business.
Okay. That's interesting. So then now the GDS piece. So talk to me a little bit more about that, where you stand now as far as getting that going and what you're looking to do, let's say, for the rest of this year with that.
So at the moment, it's fully live. And as I said, it's already being used by two of Europe's largest travel agents. It's fully live in the sense that the 22,000 boats that we have can be booked through this GDS system by a third party. And there we have different ways we can integrate. So through a simple API solution, we can also provide a white label or microsite for any kind of partner. So just as, for example, we're integrated with an airline, there you just go on the airline's website, and then while you can book a flight, you can also, for example, book a car as well as a boat now.
Wow. So what are some of the challenges as you look to expand that? I mean, what are you hearing back as you're talking to people?
That's an interesting question. So I guess the challenge is always resource, because our market is still quite young in terms of digitalization. So I think there's a lot of educational work to work with our partners and make them understand how to use our system and how to kind of deal with this product and customer base. So I would say, just educating the market is, I would say, our biggest challenge.
Yeah, because I guess it's not the kind of thing that there's been a natural demand through an OTA maybe to do this kind of thing, because it was never an option.
Yes.
So getting them to see that as a viable opportunity to present. I'm sorry.
No, but I think that's a good point. We actually see loads of demand for our product.
Do you? Okay.
And we saw this already the last time we attended this conference, that, the travel market is really mature and all big players are looking to add new products into their suite. And especially ours being so suitable to this growing millennial audience, it's just it's a perfect new asset into anyone's product suite.
Well, and so that leads me to another question. Are there certain common characteristics among your customers that are doing the bookings? Is it a lot of millennials?
Yes.
Or is it,
So we really service like all ages, as I said. But what's really interesting, and I mentioned that in my presentation today as well, is that 80% of the people just have never been on a boat before. So that shows the demand in the market, right? People are after a new thing to do, and especially millennials are into trying out new experiences that are affordable, but also have a special flair. And ours is perfect for this because it's a very free experience, right? You get to change your course every single day and try out new things. And this is exactly the kind of theme that millennials are after.
And so you mentioned that right now you're working strictly with professional charter companies. Tell me a little bit about the thinking behind that and whether that might evolve.
So I think that's a really good question. The reason why we decided to do that is because we want to only offer a very professional experience, especially because so many of our customers haven't been on a boat before. It's important that the first experience is perfect. Secondly, it's actually not legal to rent your boat privately in many countries. So in the US and in France, you're allowed to rent a boat to anyone, but in most European countries, it's not. So it's quite legislated. And in the end, what we believe is, there's, as I said today, 30 million boats in the world, right? They're really not used, and we'll certainly go after that market as well. But first, we want to build up a global infrastructure which can actually service this peer-to-peer rental in a professional and safe way.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me think of some of the legislative challenges, let's say an Airbnb or an Uber has dealt with.
Exactly.
It's a similar potential road that you have to travel down the road.
Absolutely. I mean, how they've solved it obviously is with insurance. And that's, it's a very solvable issue. But I think to us, it just goes back to this first experience of someone on a boat must be perfect and safe. And you need to build up the infrastructure within the marinas so that later on you can also add private boats so that there will be staff there and, everything. Every time a boat comes back into a marina, it needs to be checked and serviced.
And so you mentioned right now, so you're seeking some more funding partners or some funding sources, is that correct?
So actually, we're seeking primarily more partners, such as OTAs, and of course, we're always interested in meeting investors as well.
Okay. So if I see you here next year at PhocusWire Europe, what might we be talking about related to Zizoo? Where might you be?
So I think we will be... we will have further built our technology, the SaaS, and I think we will see that it will have made a big impact in the market in terms of user behavior, because I think the boat operators are still quite rigid in how they offer their boats to their customers right now. But bringing more volume into the market is going to make them more flexible and attract more customers. And in terms of where we'll be in a business, I think our next big target is to expand more into the US. Okay. So currently most of our customers come from the DACH region, but our second biggest market is already the US. So we're looking to open an office there this year and bring even more Americans to beautiful destinations in the Caribbean and Europe.
That's wonderful. And before we wrap up, I wanted to ask, do you have competitors that are also doing this in the space?
So there's a lot of companies popping up wanting to do Airbnb for boats, etc. But we're completely unique in the fact that we have this vertically integrated business model where we have direct access to the boat operator through our technology. And that makes a huge difference because it's the only way you can offer instant online booking. Right. And so we've by far outgrown all our competitors for this reason.
And right now, most of the bookings obviously are coming just through people going to your website and booking through your platform.
Exactly.
Do you have mobile also?
Yes. Yeah. So you can book on the mobile side, on our website, and that's still where most of our revenue and customers come from. Okay. Correct.
All right, wonderful. Anna, thank you so much. Great to learn a little bit more about Zizoo.
It was great.
Thanks so much for joining us.